listen, dog.
Welcome to a new edition of the Famous Interviews with Joe Dimino. On this episode, we talk with videographer, entrepreneur, and minister in training, Janise Russ. She is a content creator who decided to give up on her talent a few years ago. She went through a period of immaculate growth and looks forward to sharing her experiences and process about how she got back into videography, along with how she captures and edits videos, her entrepreneur ventures, and journey as a minister in training. Enjoy this interview.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I apologize for the delay.
Oh, it's okay. I was just making sure you could reach me since I'm in England right now.
Oh, are you? Okay, that's cool. What were you at exactly in England right now?
I'm in Oxford, England. This is actually close to where I was born. I was born in England. This is where when my dad was in the military, he met my mom here. And I'm in the house that she grew up right now. This is where I am. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool. Good deal. Well, hey, thank you for taking a minute out today. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for having me.
My pleasure. So before we get into your life as an entrepreneur, a videographer, and everything else that you do, I want to know, how did you survive COVID? The last couple of years was pretty crazy on all of us. How did you survive it as a creator, and how did it change you?
Yeah, right. Actually, COVID was actually a blessing in disguise for me. Because right before COVID, I had cut everything in my life that wasn't enhancing me. I cut off my friends, cut off some habits, and then COVID hit. So it was like perfect. So then I had no distractions, and I dove into teaching myself how to edit film with Adobe Premiere, how to edit photos with Photoshop. And because right before that, I was a part of a filming business that started in 2012. And for 7 years, that's what I was a part of. But something was always missing. Like I didn't feel like I belonged. And so I cut ties with that. But I didn't know how to edit. I only knew how to film. So I was like, you know what, I want to be able to film and edit and not have to outsource my work, you know. So, so that's what COVID did for me. I just dove right in, taught myself those things, and learned a lot about myself, actually.
It sounds like the universe was smiling on you. I think about that time period. You know, I moved into a new house in January of 2020, and I was kind of restarting a lot of things. So, you know, that now that I look back on it, that was a good time going into, you know, quarantine to have everything kind of start anew, you know?
Yeah.
So for all of the things that you do, I'm curious if you want to simplify this for me. Let's say you're a career day, you're in front of a bunch of grade school kids, and one of the kids looks up at you and says, "What do you do for a living? What is it that you do on a daily basis?" How would you answer them?
Okay. Well, overall, I am an entrepreneur, but my main focus is I'm a videographer, and I'm a videographer for a company called Ashton Martin Entertainment. I believe you interviewed one of the artists recently, Ashton Martin. I'm their main videographer. I film music videos. I film events. I'm filming a wedding on October 1st in Panama City Beach, Florida. Every Sunday, I'm filming the live stream service at our church. So that's what I do on a weekly basis. And whenever someone comes to me with an idea to shoot their music video, most of the time they really don't know how they want it shot. So I'm actually helping them plan the music video, dishing some ideas with them, kind of get their creative juices flowing, get their juices flowing, get my juices flowing, so we can get on the same page on how they want their music videos filmed. I also have, I sell merch, Nisse J apparel merch. I have these satin line beanies. I'm relaunching those beanies this winter. The logo took me some time because actually just even creating the logo was something new for me because, I was praying. I said, well, God, how should I do my logo? I said, I think I'm going to pay somebody to do it for me. And he was like, everything that you need, I've already placed aside of you. You go ahead and try and draw your own logo. So I was like, well, I need a tablet to make this design. And then the next day, my dad came up to me. He said, hey, you need a tablet? I'm buying a new one. You can have my old one. So it was like all my excuses of just trying to step into this new area of creating a logo for myself. All those excuses went out the window. So I did my own logo, the Nisse J logo, and I put it on my first beanies, and I think I sold, I want to say close to 100 beanies in like a couple months. So, everyone seems to like those, so I'm relaunching them this winter. But yeah, so that's what I do. I like to shoot film. I started off shooting like short videos, short movies. Movies that, kind of made you think about your own life and your own choices that you make, taboo topics, such as domestic violence and such. Did that for 7 years, and I went into music videos. But now, like I said earlier, I cut the ties with that company that I was a part of and just went off on and started doing my own. So yeah, that's what I am, just a videographer.
Right on. Well, I would imagine creating your own logo would make it just feel that much more satisfying to see it come to life.
Yes, it really was. It really was because just seeing yourself just you're writing it out. No, I don't like that. Writing it out again, and it changes each and every time. And then when you finally get it, you're like, wow, I can't believe I did this. So yeah, it was very satisfying.
Yeah, well,
and it saved me a few dollars.
Yeah, totally. Well, and that's the backbone of any creator. I mean, there's a lot of times the most satisfying things are when you're like, man, I just can't do it, or how am I going to do it? You finally do it. You're expanding your confidence level to do whatever you want to do from there on out.
Right. And that's what I'm learning. Just everything that I'm learning or stepping into new is building my confidence and lowering that self-doubt in my head, that voice that likes to scream, you can't do this, you shouldn't be doing this.
Well, the interesting thing I hear a lot, and there's sometimes I hear it more than not, is that you always hear people say, it's okay to fail, or you should fail,
yeah.
or and for most people you think, well, why would you want to do that? That's not something that I'm looking to do. But you do that because that's how you grow. And if you don't do that, whether with whatever, whether it's creative or relationships or anything like that, so I think that's always a good thing to kind of keep in your back pocket. It's a good thing for sure. So. Sounds like one thing I did want to bring up is Ashton's very cool. I talked to him yesterday, and
yeah.
I'm curious. He's from Florida. He's in Atlanta now. And you're in England, and that's where you're originally from. How did you run into him, and how did this whole venture begin?
Okay. So I'm in England right now, only for a month, but I live in Florida as well. The crazy thing, because I'm actually related to Ashton and our manager, his wife, Daikiria, but I didn't know at first that we were related. So our families grew up in the same town. It's a little town in Jackson County, Florida. And Daikiria's mom was helping my grandmother with some things around the house. And she walked up to me. She's like, we're cousins. You should hit up my daughter on Facebook. I said, okay. So I wrote her and said, hey, your mom's here. She told me we're cousins. So I was like, hey. And she's like, okay, hey. And that was it. So for the next several months, we were Facebook friends, but we didn't really communicate. But I liked what she and her husband were about, the AME, what it stood for. And I just kept an eye on them. I was supporting them as best as I could. And then we just connected. Ashton came to me. He was like, because during this time, I kind of told myself, I'm never going to film again. I'm tired of it. With it all, I'm not filming again. So Ashton came to me. He's like, hey, I need you to shoot a music video for me. And I said, I don't really have any of the camera equipment that I used to have. He's like, it's okay. You could just use your phone. And I was like, dang it. Like, his humbling persona just made me just, like, once again, throw out my excuses. And I was like, okay, let's do that. Because that's what a lot of people tend to look for, the videographer. They look to see what kind of camera you have, what kind of lighting you have. And if you don't got what they think you should have, they don't think you can do the job. But Ashton, he's just a different kind of dude. Like you said, he's a cool dude. Like, he's very down to earth. And he sees something in people sometimes people don't see in themselves. And at that time, that's what was going on. He saw that I had the ability to bring his music video to life. So I shot his music video with my iPhone XS Max, and we did it. I couldn't believe we did it, and we had a good time. What music video was that? Transitions. It's called Transitions, and actually at the end of that song is my dad speaking. He's a pastor, and he's speaking some words of wisdom at the end of that. So then we just started hanging out, and then they said, you know what, we want you to be a part of AME. And I already felt like I was a part of AME, but they made it official, and we've been close ever since. We have weekly meetings. Just recently we did our first AME boss camp. We came together in Atlanta, and what the boss camp did for us is kind of teach us about networking and just to build our confidence. And at the end of that boss camp, our manager had us to do one last project. We were at this random park, and she said, okay, Ashton and one Drew, he's the other artist, a part of AME. Pick 5 words from these envelopes, and with these 5 words, you got to write a song in 20 minutes. And after you write the song, you got to record the song in another 20 minutes. So we're all just thinking, like, we don't have a mic, we don't have a studio, and we're like, how are we supposed to do this? And she's like, you got to use the limited resources that you have. Everything that you have is already in you. Go ahead and use it. So they did it in less than 20 minutes. They wrote the song. They recorded the song in less than 20 minutes. And then she was like, all right, Janise, you got to film the music video. And I was like, I don't have a camera. She said, use your phone. And my phone was, oh my gosh, my phone was so busted. It had it had cracks in it. It had tape on one side. It had little green, pixelated lights on the screen. I said, oh my goodness. But we went with it. I filmed it. We had so much fun. It was the first time that I shot a music video without overthinking or doubting my abilities. It's like us just being together, working on the same project. It's like, when they say iron sharpens iron, we was just sharpening each other's iron. And we filmed that in less than 20 minutes. And ever since that boss camp, we've been closer. We haven't been overthinking with our projects because a lot of the times we overthink. We think things need to be perfect, and then we spend weeks, even months on a project that really should just take 60 minutes. Or really should just take a day. So just that boss camp just really, really showed us what was inside of us. And ever since then, we've just been taking off.
I learned that every day. My main vocation is a jazz radio host, and I interview musicians. And jazz is the art of improv. I mean, those cats jump up and they go for it. And even when they record albums, it takes them maybe a day, 4 hours or 2 days at most. And it's amazing what they can create, and it's amazing what your brain can do. And I think, I do a lot of video. I've done video for a long time, and everybody has this common misperception that you have to have all this equipment, all these lenses, and all these boom mics, and all this stuff. And really, just like you said with an iPhone, if you have an eye and you have that creativity, that idea, that vision, it doesn't matter what you have. You create it. And these phones are so powerful anymore. They used to have that commercial where they would show the cinematic option that you have on the iPhone and all of that. The optics and what's going on these phones is insane.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a real, true professional and you're doing things for hire and whatnot, I get it. There's things that you really need to have. But if you're somebody out there that just really wants to capture it and you're doing vlogs and things like that, these phones do what you need,
Yeah.
So
they really do.
Yeah, they're amazing. So I'm curious, talk to me a little bit about where you were born and raised, and I know you moved around some, and kind of how you got this creative desire, this bug, so to speak, that's been in you that has made you who you are today.
Okay, yeah. Like I said, I was born here in England, and then after a few years, my dad was stationed back in the States. And I bounced around from Cocoa Beach, Florida, Warner Robins, Georgia. Then we moved to Germany and moved back to Arizona. Arizona is where I graduated high school. But my dad was always the person in the family who was always the one that took pictures and always the one that had a camera in his hand. So that's how I learned how to use a camera with, the old school camcorder with the the high 8 cassette tapes. And if you didn't have a tripod, like, you really had to keep that camera steady, or whenever you would rewatch the film, if it was shaking too much, you kind of get motion sickness. And I know my dad got motion sickness real easily, so I'm like, okay, I got to keep this camera straight so my dad can watch it, just to make him happy. So essentially, that's how I learned how just to work a camera. At the time, I didn't know I would be working cameras for maybe the rest of my life, but yeah. So that's how I got into filming. And let's see. Okay, I graduated, and then I moved back to Florida to go to college with my grandmother. And at the time, my parents and sister moved to Japan. And at the time, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know why I was going to college. I didn't know what to do with my life. And that's just when I started, maybe 7 years later, just picking up a camera again for starting that first business with my friend at the time. And from then on, I just always had a camera in my hand. Didn't realize that just growing up that my dad already taught me the skills and the tools that I needed. I didn't realize it till I was thinking about it maybe last year. I was like, wait, I've been actually wielding a camera for a long time. So now every time at functions, family reunions, everybody looks to me. Janise, get your camera. Janise, take a picture. And so yeah, that's how that came about.
So who have been role models or heroes for you?
That question is kind of different for me because I'm the type of person that I don't really have too many heroes or people that I look up to, because even as a kid, I just learned that we are all human. And I really never really looked up to a person per se, but I looked up to this different genres, like different movie genres. Okay, that's what I want to do. Now, my parents, I do look up to them. I guess I can consider them my heroes because they they kept me on the straight and narrow. I was a kid that wasn't allowed to stay out late at night. Had to come home by a certain time. It even got to a point where, people didn't even invite me to their birthday parties or parties because they're like, Janise is probably not allowed to come. So just being shielded from a lot of the negativity or the things of this world, it kind of kept my head clear and kept me out of certain situations that sometimes would take maybe years to get out of, or for the rest of your life you just have to live with that, live with that, what I'm trying to say, the repercussions of whatever actions you chose to delve into. But yeah, I guess I would consider my parents my heroes.
So let's take this a step further. If you could meet anybody alive on the planet right now, who would it be? Who would you like to talk to?
Honestly, that goes with my heroes questions. Like, there's just not too many people that I want to meet, because I'm usually the type of person that I don't like to want something that I know that could never happen, or I don't know. It's just not too many people I look up to, actually. So there's really nobody I really want to meet that's gone on.
Yeah, no, I understand. No, that's an answer in itself. So, as somebody that's creative, is there an album or a book that you experienced in your life that you've always saw kind of opened the curtains for you, that was a big inspiration for you?
Yes, there is a book. I cannot recall it, but he used to be an NFL player, and it really opened my eyes to being motivated, and how good habits are really important to being successful. And writing down your visions, not only writing them down, but reciting them, and watching those visions, vision boards come to life. For some reason, I cannot recall that book, but I see it. But yeah, that book really changed my perspective. Because even in the book, it shows you how to do it. And it has a little workbook that you can buy with it. And that really got me motivated, because being motivated is like exercising. At first, it can be very hard, very difficult. But if you stick with it, especially those first 2 weeks, to get into a type of plan, a type of daily habits, as soon as you wake up, you get right into it. Then it becomes just second nature. So that book, that's what it taught me to do, just how to stay motivated, and to really think about what I want out in life. Who do I want to be? What are the things I need to work on? What are my weaknesses? What are my strengths? And that just really helped me just to focus on that.
So everyone has a perception of you, your family, your friends, your clients, but ultimately you live your life. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
I think that I'm a kind person, a person that understands, and has been through a lot, because I used to be very naive. And being naive has gotten me, a lot of people have used me, taken advantage of me, and now I'm at the point that I will never allow that to happen anymore, because I thought my issue was trying to please people. and be trying to please others. That's what got me used and abused and such. But now that I shifted my perspective into, first of all, doing what feels right to me, what's healthy to me, and most of all, pleasing God. Because if my focus is to please God, then I will always make the right decision. Now, those decisions will always make people happy, but that's not my focus. Is not to make you happy; it's to make God happy. So that's who I am today. Pleasing God. I love to have fun. I love to encourage and upbuild others, especially if you tell me what your dreams or your visions are. I might be annoying because I'm going to continue to hit you up. Hey, have you started that book? Hey, have you started that business yet? And I'll send you little links to encourage you or to motivate you, because I want to see you be the greatest version of you. So that's who I am. You can look for me to be that encourager in your life.
So if anyone wants to know anything about what you do, what you're doing, your services, where's the best place for them to go on the web to find out?
Yeah, the best place to find me is on Instagram at Nisse_J. That's NISEE_J. Or on Facebook, Nisse J. And that's where you can find me. You can find what we're doing in AME. You can find the music videos that I'm working on and the YouTube videos that I'll be working on.
Perfect. Hey, thank you for taking some time out to send my best to England, and good luck with everything as we move forward.
All right. Thanks so much, Joe.
Thanks for tuning in to another famous interview with Joe Dimino, where we cover the world of art, literature, and music around the globe. If you want to hear more interviews, visit the Famous Interviews with Joe Dimino channel on YouTube. Thanks again for listening, and until next time.
Yes, I think that was pretty dope, dog. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.